Hi everyone, I'm Livia and this is my daughter Elizabeth. Say hi. Hi, good job. And I've been living in the United States since 2015. I'm Italian, and like every other country, I noticed a lot of differences between Italy and the States. One of the differences I noticed is how different it is how we start babies on solid foods, and I wanted to do a series of videos how to show you how we start babies on solid foods in Italy and how I did it with Elizabeth. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say what's best for a baby or for another, but I just wanted to make these videos to show what was my experience and what worked with my baby, Elizabeth. But I can't say which one is best because she is my first child, so I only try this kind, which all my family done since forever because that's how you do it in Italy. And I just wanted to show something different because every time I talk with my friends and like family here, they're all very surprised how I started solid foods with her. So I thought maybe it might be interesting for someone to see that. So I'll just show you right away how I do it, and in the next videos I'll show you how it continued through the months. Now she's 9 months old and she eats pretty much everything, right? Yes. Okay, see you later. Bye. So here I start by cutting a zucchini, peeling a potato, cutting it in pieces, and doing the same thing with a carrot. And I'm putting them in a pot with water, cold water, and that's how we start for her food. So we make a broth, a vegetable broth. So I put it on the stove and turn the stove on, and it's gonna, from the moment that it's gonna boil, it's gonna be 30 minutes that it has to boil. So after that, I'm gonna mash with a baby cook all her veggies and keep the broth on the side. So in this first moment when she starts the solid food, she started at 5.5 months, my daughter. The first thing that you're just gonna use is gonna be the broth. And when you see that after a few days she doesn't have any reaction, she accepts the food good, you can start by adding a little bit of vegetables too. So as I said, we start by using the broth with cereals. Here I'm using rice, the powder, of course. So you usually start with the gluten-free, so it's either oatmeal or rice, and then you can, when there are no reaction, you can move up to like wheat, etc. So I put 2 spoons of the cereals and add a little bit of broth and mix it very good until it's all smooth, and half a spoon of olive oil. And that's the consistency I'm gonna show you right now that you're looking for. And before feeding it to your baby, you have to make sure it's not too hot, but since it's not that much food, it doesn't take a long time to cool down. So if your child already had this kind of meal for a few days, what I did is adding a spoon of vegetables, mashed vegetables, to the meal and feeding that. Every time I made the broth, so that's the consistency. So I'm showing you Elizabeth having her dinner, so I can talk a little bit more about how I started food with her. So when she was 5.5 months, I started with the meal I showed you, with the broth with the cereals. And after a few days that she had no reaction, I added some vegetables in her meal. And after a few days, I added some Parmigiano, which is a very digestible cheese for kids. So just a tablespoon grated cheese in it, And every time I made the broth for her, I would like change the vegetables or add something new to see if she had a reaction, or if she liked the flavor. The only thing that I want to point it out to always use, if it's possible, seasonal vegetables. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that I started by giving her solid food at lunch, so if she had any reaction, I had the chance to have the whole day to see if she was sick or something like that, rather than having her start with dinner and then she was close to bedtime. One more thing is that I never forced Elizabeth to eat anything at the beginning. Like, I tried with a spoon. If she wanted it, good. Otherwise, I will like not force her at all. And the next day I will try again, until, I have to be honest, I never had problems with her eating, so I was very lucky. But yeah, I never forced it on her. One more thing I want to add is that personally, since I'm a stay-at-home mom, I just make the broth every other day. So I make the quantity that I need for 2 days. But if you're like working or you don't have much time, you can, of course, make like a big pot and like freeze it, maybe in those little Persian cups. So you have it throughout the day. You can take it out the freezer in the morning and put it in the fridge. So when it's lunchtime or dinner time, it's like unfrozen. So that's pretty much what she had the first couple weeks, first month. And then from there, after changing all the vegetables and adding more veggies to her food, I added more things, but I'm gonna talk about it in the next video. Thank you for watching and see you soon.